Call me paranoid or schizo on cur. But every time I rent an Airbnb, I always check the light switches in the master bathroom using fresh organic lemons. Basically, all you gotta do is just make sure you call the Airbnb host and then you ask them about the nearest grocery store selling fresh fruit. And then you wanna pick up you a sale of some lemons and you wanna put it at the light switch just like this right here. Look at that. And then I always make sure I go against the grain just like that. And then I always use my finger to wipe off any residue that's on her. Just like this. And then you want to make sure you get close in her just like this. And then you want to wipe off any residual that was left. I always make sure I make a couple passes on the bottom just like this right here. Look at that. Wow, look at that. That's perfect. And then you want to go up with the grain. And then you want to go down just like that. And I always bring my magic magnetic marker just so I can make my dots as the reference points. Because you just never know. And this method flawless for real. I mean, just look at it. I don't think nobody in regular motion getting past this. I mean, just think about it. Call me paranoid or schizo. On cur. But every time I rent an Airbnb, I always check the light switches in the master bathroom using blue crayons. Because you just never know. And basically for this method, all you gotta do is just make sure you set it in place just like this. I always make sure I break it in half just to be specific. And then you want to take your liners and you want to make sure you hit all the sides just like this. And then I always use my finger to wipe off any residue that's on her. I always make sure I hit it evenly just like this. Wow, look at that. I always make a couple passes with the clippers just like this. I always make sure I get in there nice and tight just like that. And then I always get my magic magnetic mark and I make my dots as the reference point. Because you just never know. This method flawless for real. Wow. Call me paranoid or schizo on cur. But every time I rent an Airbnb, I always check the light switch in the master bathroom. Because you just never know. And I'm going to show y'all exactly how to do this method right here. So basically all you going to need you is a curly fry. Preferably a frozen one. Then I always just set it at the light switch just like that. Then I always get my liners and I always go against the grain just like that. That's perfect. Then I'm going to go ahead and go up on it just like this. Wow. Look at that. Look at that. That's perfect. That's perfect. Then you want to make sure you go against the grain on this side too, just like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and take my magic magnetic marker and make my dots as the reference points. Because you just never know. And this method flawless for real. People always calling me paranoid and schizo. But I don't care. I'ma always take the Airbnbs using my flawless methods. Because you just never know. And I'ma show y'all exactly how to do this one right here. So basically all you gotta do is just go to your nearest Walmart. Then you wanna pick up a big old dozen of eggs. The big brown ones to be exact. Then you want to crush them open and get you some orange crush. And then you want to make sure you pour a little bit in there just like this right here. That's perfect. That's perfect. Look at that. Then you want to go ahead and take the other side and close it just like this. But you got to be careful because you don't want to do it too hard. And then you're going to take it just like this and you want to go set and put it in place at the front door. Then you want to go ahead and take your magic magnetic marker and make your dots as the reference points. Because you just never know. And this method flawless for real. I mean, just look at it. Wow. People always calling me paranoid and schizo. But I don't care. I'ma always check the vents at the Airbnbs using my flawless methods. And today I'm gonna show y'all how to create this method right here from home. All you gonna need is these little few items right here. And double-sided nano tape, some scissors, and 2 water bottles with food coloring in it. And then basically all you gotta do is just cut you a little strip of that double-sided nano tape. And then we gonna put it right to the bottle. Just like this. You gotta make sure you get it on there firmly. Because you want it to sit on there perfect. Just like that. Then we gonna peel off the backing. Just like this. That's perfect. And then we gonna apply it to the vent. Just like this. Give it a good squeeze. Look at that. That's perfect. You just never know. And this method flawless for real. Just look at it.